always been drawn to forgotten places. Not the kind you see on tourist blogs, but places that smelled of dust, mold, and regret, where the air felt heavier, as if it remembered things it shouldn't. For weeks, he'd been looking for a location for his next photography project. A friend mentioned an old hospital on the outskirts of the city, closed down more than 15 years ago after a series of administrative irregularities and a fire that killed several patients. No one had bought the building since. Rumors said even the demolition crews refused to work there. It took less than 5 minutes to find a way in. The main gate hung from one hinge, its padlock rusted through. He gave it a push and stepped inside. The air was stale, thick with the sharp, almost metallic scent of decay. Inside, his flashlight beam swept across overturned desks, wheelchairs with missing wheels, and walls streaked with brown stains that time hadn't erased. His boots crunched over broken glass and plaster. Every sound seemed too loud. The hospital map by the entrance was faded, but he could still read one label: Critical Care, Ward C. Something about the name made him curious. He followed the worn signs up a narrow stairwell to the second floor. The double doors to Ward C were secured with a chain, but the links had been cut long ago. He pushed through. The temperature dropped instantly. The corridor ahead was long and dim, with heavy steel doors lining both sides, some ajar, some closed. In the first room he entered, a bed still stood in the center, leather restraints fastened to the railings. The smell here was sharper, almost sour. He took a few photos, adjusting his lens, when a sudden thud echoed from deeper down the corridor. He froze, listened. Nothing followed. He convinced himself it was part of the ceiling falling. Still, his heart was ticking faster now. He moved forward, snapping pictures as he went. Halfway down the hall, his flashlight caught something unsettling. Deep scratch marks gouged into the wall long, jagged lines dragged with desperate force. He leaned in for a closer shot. The camera's flash lit up the corridor, and for a split second, in the reflection of a broken window, he saw a human silhouette standing at the far end. He spun around. The corridor was empty. "Calm down," he muttered under his breath. At the end of the hall, one door was slightly open. Inside, amid the dust and rubble, a file folder lay on the floor. He picked it up, wiping the cover clean enough to read, "Patient ID, unknown NN." The notes described violent episodes, agitation, night screaming, and final isolation in Ward C. The last page noted the patient's death during the fire locked inside the room. A loud metallic clank made him flinch. He turned sharply. The double doors toward C, the ones he had pushed open minutes earlier, were now shut. He walked quickly toward them, but when he grabbed the handle, it wouldn't turn. He pushed harder. Nothing. Then he heard it. Not footsteps, not movement. Breathing, slow, uneven, to close. His pulse spiked. He swung his flashlight behind him. The corridor was empty again, but the breathing didn't stop. It seemed to shift with him, circling just out of sight. Stepped back until he was pressing against the doors. His own breath was loud in his ears, but he could still hear the other one, ragged and deliberate. And then, without warning, the handle turned from the other side. The doors swung open. He didn't wait. He bolted down the stairwell, his flashlight beam jittering wildly. He burst into the lobby, then out into the open air. The night wind hit him like ice water, but he didn't slow until he reached his car. At home, hours Hours later, he finally gathered the nerve to review his photos. Most were empty shots of rooms and hallways, but in several of them then, the shadows of Ward C. there was a figure, not clear, not in focus, but always closer to the camera than it should have been. He never went back. If you liked this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. It would help me a lot. And leave in the comments what other video you'd like me to upload.